So there's also a ton of tips in the podcast. And one of the ones that I thought was probably really interesting and fascinating. One was the tip of if it's a business email compromise, you think you're in their system, maybe you don't want to set up that call using your
Yes.
corporate business email.
Yeah.
If I want you to talk about why that. And the other one was, and when you're on the video call, it's probably an important thing to actually see you on the video.
Yes, exactly.
Talk about that. Tell me a couple of those stories.
It's interesting. I'll tell you a story that happened years ago when I first started at CrowdStrike. One of the think tanks that we were working with had just installed us in monitor only mode. We found an adversary in their environment on a Saturday morning, just like taking stuff, right? They were on the Exchange servers. I mean, just they're in the environment. This was like very early in my career here at CrowdStrike. I go, well, did you email them? And someone from Overwatch said, absolutely not. Like, the adversaries in the Exchange environment, they're
Ah,
seeing all the emails, they're extracting these emails. Like, we're not going to email them and tell them
tip
that
them
we know
off.
that they're tip them off.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so they're like, can you find this customer? As in physically find them on a
Oh,
Saturday.
like drive
Yeah.
over to the
Oh,
building and
yeah,
start
yeah, like
knocking on
something.
doors.
Exactly. Yeah. I remember doing a lot of homework and finally tracking down this customer and saying, hey, you're going to have to just go in there, just like unplug something, right? We've been trying to reach you all day. And again, a very small organization, they have one person in charge of everything at the
Hmm.
time, just all IT, all security. Think about that, right? Understaffed is an understatement, right? And we basically helped them kick the adversary out. Long story. But for me, that was the first time I realized, wow, that's a really good point. If the adversary is in your environment, especially your email system, and your email exchange and correspondence includes information around the incident itself, your response program or your
Uh,
plan, the action plan. I mean, that is just the adversary just sitting there like, here.
attached is our incident response plan to this
Exactly.
email. Yeah.
Exactly. We're going to be meeting at this location. We're going to get on this Zoom link or whatever type of web meeting tool. It's diminishing returns at that point, right? When you're communicating over email. So I think that the out of band tip that Adam recommended for saying, hey, an incident response plan should ultimately have out of band communication that doesn't include the use of email, corporate email systems, because this is something that the adversary could use to their advantage. And when he told me about adversaries sitting in on the actual war room calls, I think
Yeah.
that was fascinating, right? To
Yeah.
say that there's a war room going on, and there have been instances where we got involved and there's someone on the call, not on video, right? And
Mm.
we say, hey, who is this? And no one can answer, only to realize after some homework that, oh, yeah, this is the bad guy sitting in on this phone call.